Okay. Should be it. So welcome to the Sunday night talk. And before we start, just a few things. I'm having a webinar at the end of the month, last Saturday of this month. Hey, Paul. Last Saturday of the month. If you want to come on that, just drop me an email or drop me a line on Facebook. And hi, Donnie. Hi, Paul. What else? For one-to-one Skype sessions. Yeah, so if you want to get in touch with me about that. I also have a Wednesday night chat group. Turn that off. Wednesday night chat group, which is a private chat group. It's quite small, so it's nice. It's nice. Everyone gets a chance. So you can contact me about that. These things are also on my website. What else? I don't have a weekend talk now till November, but I am thinking of doing a 5-day residential here. Well, not residing with me in my small house, but in my town. So we're looking at that. Me and a friend are looking at that. So that could be something nice. And if that goes well, I might just do 2 a year because I actually prefer to do it here than actually in the UK because it's a lot of hassle finding somewhere to stay and all that stuff. What else? Yeah, there's stuff on my website. There's my books. There's also my paintings. And yeah, if you'd like to support my work by becoming a patron on Patreon, I'll be most grateful. If not, a small donation for the work I do and the free talks I give are very much appreciated. And thank you for some who are here for donating. So who have we got? Hey, Jim. Hey, lovely. Hey, Keel. Okay. I'm not really moved to give like a general introduction. Hi, Tangerine. Because there's loads of that on like over 100 videos. I'm sort of feeling more inclined now, well, today at least, because I could change any moment, to go into some of the detail and some of the misconceptions that actually listening to speakers like myself can bring about. And especially in non-duality, because it's become a little bit of a movement, and that is quite a dangerous place for the seeker. When something becomes a movement, and it's a kind of a weird movement because it's a movement about not being a movement. It's like almost like a religion about no religion. Wave over my computer. There we go. And I see people getting into that, getting into it and forming opinions about so-called non-duality, but this is not non-duality actually. We put it under an umbrella term, but what I'm talking about is not non-duality. It's life, it's the energy and the appearance of life and the unfathomable, ineffable wonder that is this. Non-duality has become a kind of a blanket term which has sort of branched off into other avenues. And even in like the so-called radical non-duality. You know, you get all this. It's very subtle. It's very subtle because the person really wants to find even the smallest nuance that it can get hold of, that it can understand, and give it something where it feels it can rest or feel like it's got something. And that can happen as well. People argue about it. Like, who has it? Who has it? Who doesn't have it? And it can get really bogged down in that. When it's all just nonsense. Nobody has it. There are no speakers. There's just an appearance of speakers. But they're nothing. They're nothing. This is not a speaker. This is a body that just seems to sit down at the computer on a Sunday night and start speaking. And there's no idea about what's being said. It just comes out. It just comes out like that. There's no truth in the words. You can't understand the words. There's an energy. There's an energy. And that's not an energy from this body. It's just the apparent energy, if it's there, arising out of nothing. It's not subject to a particular body. Sifting through the apparent bollocks. Yeah, really, really. Hi, Miss Line. It's so hot. Oh, God, I'm dripping. Sifting through the apparent bollocks. That is so true. There is so much rubbish. And you can tell it's rubbish when it's an opinion dissing another opinion. Truth is not found in concepts, but concepts are found in truth. What truth? This is the end of truth. This is the end of truth. This is freedom from truth. Oh my God, freedom from bloody truth. What I'm talking about is absolute freedom. As soon as a position is made, as soon as a position is taken on life, as if anyone could take a position on the whole of life appearing. I'm going to take a position on that wall because I know the truth of that wall, and I'm going to take a position on it. Hey, Maddie. I think everything is true. Therefore, nothing is true. Like, you know, this internet world, which is like almost like the bane of my life. Honest, really. I live up here in the mountains in Spain, and it's kind of like really peaceful and everything. And then, you know, you just go onto Facebook just to post something, and then you just get all this stuff, all these non-duality opinions, as if I give a stuff about all these non-duality opinions. You know, and this is the trap, you see, this is the trap. Making non-duality into a set of dogmas where you use all the right language, all the right just boring, turgid, dead language with no energy in it because it's just dead. The right words, absolute nonsense. There's no truth. There's no truth in it. This is freedom from truth. I love feeding the Instagram machine. Yeah, but you fill the Instagram machine with really good photographs, not bollocks. I'd much rather see really beautiful photography than non-duality opinions. Absolute nonsense. It's just person. You see these opinions and concepts and everything, and it just like, you might as well just put a neon sign over it. Person. Personhood. The hood of non-duality has gone on. I'm going to speak from that hood. Because this is true about non-duality and this is not true about non-duality. That person says it right. That person says it wrong. Nobody's saying it. Nobody's saying anything. I'm on a proper rant tonight, aren't I? I love it. Yeah. Nobody's saying anything. If you think somebody's saying something, then you've gone into concept. I'll start answering things in a minute. I'll just see if I've finished yet. Like somebody said, you know, I get all this stuff with the internet. Honestly, it's like a drama. I just delete. Anyway, someone said that a certain speaker, whose name I won't mention for privacy reasons, certain speaker, Tony and myself, didn't really get the truth of non-duality because we were stuck in the concept of no person. Now, to say something like that, this is a perfect example of taking a position. To say something like that, there has to be an idea of person, that there is another person who's in the idea of no person. Because when no person is appearing, it's the end of persons. So that person who said it is not a person anyway. But all this stuff comes in. It comes in from concepts about persons. There's no separation. Just wonderful aliveness. Even the tedious rubbish concepts. Oh, I love it. Love it. What a mystery. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, as soon as there's an idea, it's just an idea. It's not freedom. An idea is not freedom. It's freedom appearing as an idea, but the idea is not the freedom itself. Getting the idea of the language, the right language, that's not freedom. It's actually a trap. It's really a trap. Freedom is freedom from all concepts and all ideas. And yet all concepts and all ideas can appear freely. But they appear freely not for an apparent person. Okay. Hi, I'm Rita. Hi, Lisa. Chair is not a chair. Body is not a body. What is chair to you? Can you explain, please? Yeah, it's a chair. Anything else I say is going to become conceptualized. Anything else. The chair is mystery. This is a mystery, appearing as what we call a chair. But really, it's a chair. We call it a chair. But who knows? I don't know. It's just, a body is not a body. A body is just a body. But it's a mystery why it's here, because it appears and then apparently someday it will disappear. It disappears when I go to sleep. Body disappears. You can't explain the mystery of everything that is and is not. Tell them all to stop complaining. Oh, there's a better way to do it, Joe. It's just called a delete button or ban. Only if people are actually harassing me, not if someone's just asking questions and discussing. That's okay. That's what I do all the time. Trolls, though. To try to, as a mere human, to explain this full aliveness would be to singular out something which actually doesn't exist except for as an idea. In the end, that you could just say that there's only love and life. In the end, it's just love. It's just life. You can't singular out anything. That is such an arrogance. It's such a human arrogance. As if this life gives a damn about what the human thinks, because it is the human thinking, but it's also the wall and the table and the water. Miss Line, since you know life is an illusion and time is just a concept, do you ever play around those concepts? Like, do you disregard memories that you don't like and create your own reality? It's not that I know life is an illusion. It's not even an illusion. It's not an illusion. It's beyond illusion. It's beyond illusion. It's so vast. It's like illusion means that it doesn't really exist. Well, it does and it doesn't. It doesn't, but it doesn't exist in a steady state in time. So it's not as if I know that. It just is the case, because when there's not something covering it up, which is the person who looks always outside in its imagination, when that's not there, that is really clear that all that is left is this beautiful, even when it's ugly, like wall, this incredible life, an incredible intelligence, an incredible love. I digress. Do you ever play around with those concepts? Not really. Do you disregard memories that you don't like and create your own reality? No, none of that. None of that. There's just ordinary life happening. But it's free of anybody who would need to disregard memories or create my own reality. I mean, I do live in a bit of a fantasy land because I make paintings and things. So I'm always like, I'm quite fanciful in mind. But that's just my imagination. That's not, it just is what it is. Amita, is there suffering in love? Love is suffering. Love is everything. Love is the appearance of suffering. Well, love is everything. Love kills everything. Life kills everything. But for the human, we call that suffering. This aliveness is everything. Nothing is excluded from that. How can it? And this life, if it could, doesn't give a damn. Because it is itself. It's always an expression of itself. It's always an expression. Hi, Anne. Okay, good. Joe, keep cool, don't panic. I'm trying to keep cool, Joe. I'll only panic if I see a cockroach. Oh, it's like 38 degrees in my house. Can you believe it? It's really, really hot. Him trying to tie down some kind of correct doctrinal position seems to fly in the face of this message of freedom. Yeah, it does, it does, it does. It's ridiculous. It absolutely flies in the face of it, yeah. But people can't help it. They can't help it. Because the person wants to tie, it needs that. It needs that. It needs to feel secure. It needs to feel like it knows something. Where would I be if I don't know anything? Where would I be? Who would I be? You know, not that I know. Me neither, Jim. In fact, I can go so far as to say there's no one sitting here speaking. There's nobody sitting here speaking. Oh. There's nobody listening. There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on that has any meaning, that has any outcome. Hi, SS. It's because we invest so much in our lives. Yes, well, the me invests so much in its life, which it imagines it is. It's life. There's an appearance of a person imagining that this life belongs to it. And so in the story is much investment in the story. And it invests a lot in the story of non-duality. It's just another form of seeking. Dogma is great for the me. It makes it say, oh, I can get a hold of that. I can get a hold of it. You can't get a hold of this. You can't get a hold of it. There's nothing here for the person. The person looks for something else in its imagination. There's nothing here for the person. Sometimes the person can go into the imagination that there's an awareness of this. There's a knowing of this. There's something. This doesn't give a damn about your awareness. It's just another experience. It's still the same aliveness appearing as awareness. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens to the human. It doesn't matter what it does, what it says, what it thinks it knows. Because none of it is real. None of it's real. Hi, Lithology. Lithology. What is suffering? And is this about the end of it? Yes, in a sense, yes. Yes. Because the suffering I'm talking about here is not the suffering of like, it's not the suffering of the body. I mean, that is suffering, but that's not the suffering I'm talking about. It's the suffering of the one that thinks it's a person, always looking for its completion, which will never be fulfilled, which will never come. That is suffering. That is the suffering self. Hi there. Suffering from body, look, like I am not beautiful enough, comes from a sense of separation. Yes, yes. There's an identification with the body, but that body doesn't belong to anybody. That body is life. When there's nobody there to identify with the body is just the body. Yeah. It's a difficult one, that. I hear that one a lot. Yeah, the sense of self is always in comparison to other selves and what other selves say and what other selves think, and the societal consensus about things. What is worthy, what is unworthy, what is beautiful, what is not beautiful. The sense of self It's always in relationship to that. That is suffering, yes. It says, it's constant change, so nothing matters. No. No. Mattering doesn't matter either. Things can matter to the human, but they don't really matter because they change so quickly. You know, you see these dogs, I love dogs, and they have these big dramas, don't they? Especially here in Spain, because you see a lot of dogs on the street, they have their, like, dog dramas. You know, grrr, snap, 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 snap. Next minute, they're all walking off, wagging their tails as if, like, gone, because nothing is continuing the drama as a story. Drama, territorial argument, or whatever, and then it's over. The dog's not going off saying, I wish I would have barked like this, or I wish I would have bit its leg. No, it's over, gone. It's in a constant change and flux. Only the person puts it in a package of time. So it feels like that event happened to me, and I'm bringing it forward with me because it's now become part of my story and part of my idea of who I am and what kind of person I am and how I look to other apparent separate people. That's what persons do. They hang on to these dramas. When there's no person there, the dramas end pretty quickly. A bit like being a dog. Does anybody ever think you're crazy? If so, how do you deal with it? I don't talk about this to anybody. Not saying you are, but these ideas are obviously crazy. Yeah, I don't talk about this to anybody. Only to you guys, because you're crazy too. in the apparent world opinion of what crazy is. People probably would think I'm crazy, yes. Yeah. I avoid talking about it because I just can't be bothered. I'm not interested. Unless I'm sitting here talking with you guys, I have actually no interest in what I'm talking about. It's just, aren't we all crazy? Yeah, we're all crazy. Remember that time when you were a kid and you used to think that adults knew stuff? If only you were told as a kid, no, adults don't know anything. You wouldn't have believed them anyway. I have no interest in this unless an interest arises. Because it just arises out of nothing, but everything arises out of nothing. A sudden kind of urge to write something will arise, and then a sudden urge to have a cup of tea will arise. It's all the same, because in the end, this message doesn't matter. That sounds like, well, why are you talking about it? Why am I listening to it? Well, you're not listening, and I'm not talking. And if you said that down the local cafe, people would definitely think you're crazy. But people, you know, people who are here, something, and it's nothing to do with this body at all. This body is just a walking bag of meat, let's say. The words have come out of nowhere in that space, not this space. And the words come out of nowhere, and there's either a kind of a freshness and a resonance in them, all at the same time, but not for any reason. You can't really put anything on that. And Rita, when we sleep, body disappears. What about mind? I don't know. All I can say is that this body goes to sleep and dreams or doesn't dream. That's all I can say. Anything else would be me trying to be a hobby scientist who knows nothing. It's just whatever's happening, actually. I don't know about mind. I just don't know. Tangerine. My family think I'm burying my head in the sand because I don't watch the news. Oh, yeah, I get that said about me too. I'm not interested in the news. Occasionally I am. Occasionally. But I don't actually watch the news. Because it's the same news, probably, as 2,000 years ago. It's the same news, let's face it. There's people doing horrible stuff to other people. There we go. There's the news. Summed up over the past 2,000 years. And did the nasty man leave you alone? He's just ignoring me now, so yes. I really don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry. I'm not even going to attempt it. But it feels like some people are more beautiful than others. I can't get rid of this feeling. Yeah, that's a belief. That's a belief. Yeah, a deeply ingrained, painful belief. That feeling like some people are more beautiful than others. And it's not true. Only as far as the societal group mind is concerned. But who cares about that? Who cares about that? What does it? It doesn't give anybody anything. The physical beauty is like really not important. Because it's just so what? So what? But I understand your pain. I do. I do. I used to think that when I was in my 20s. I don't know why. I was pretty good looking in my 20s. But I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Because I lived in that world of comparisons as well. And it was just a jumble of beliefs that was identified with as being true. It gets deeply ingrained. It's like, it would be funny to show random strangers clips of Tony Parsons to see how they react. Yeah, who knows, eh? Some people might go, oh yeah. Some people go, who's that idiot? Some people might get angry. I says, really, we don't know anything. No. There's no we. There's no we to know anything. Who is this we? I've said this before, haven't I? Who is this we? We? A group mind? There's no group mind. Joe, whatever is not what you think it is. Yeah. Mythology. How to get rid of painful, deeply rooted beliefs. I don't know. I don't know. Getting rid of them is not my forte. That would be happening in the appearance of the person. The apparent person can go to therapists or whatever who can help with that deeply rooted beliefs. This is about the end of the person, not getting rid of the rooted beliefs. This what is being spoken of can create a resonance or a recognition that the whole idea of being somebody who has beliefs at all, that whole figment can just come crumbling down. But there's no how to. All we can do is talk about it, even though we're not saying anything. But something in this not saying anything is a kind of a beauty to it. There's a kind of a love to it. That's not giving the person something to do. It exposes this construct called the person. Yes, it feels very painful. Yeah, yes. Yes. Or the one that thinks it's true, the one that feels that is true, that one is not true. The whole thing is a dream that is being lived in. That I am an I at all. Never mind, I am not beautiful. You see, as soon as you have the whole idea of I am a separate person. Through life and circumstances, it gets hold of ideas. I'm not clever enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not sporty enough. I'm not this enough. There's always something that it feels it lacks. It's always in lack. So the identity there has got hold of this very painful feeling that I am not beautiful enough. But at the core of it is the initial belief of I. That is the core of all these deeply rooted feelings. But there's no root to that being uprooted. It can just be possibly, potentially revealed and potentially drop away. But I see people in this, I've been people with Skype for some time, and I see it happening again and again. And in my Wednesday night talks, I see it because of the constant repetition. I'm not saying that is a practice or a necessity, because there is no necessity to anything. But in the appearance, it appears that the repetition of this no subject can expose that construct. Lovely. Lisa, when you paint, I guess there is a love for how does it happen without a me. When I make music, I feel it is compounded of my history, what I learned and listened to. Yeah, but that's not a me. Your learning is not the person. The one that identifies that I learned it is the person. Yeah, I mean, as a musician, or as an artist, we're inspired by, we've got inspiration from things we've seen and things we've heard and all that, but there's no person in that. The only appearance of a person is saying, I heard that. I wish I could be as good as that. Da 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 da. So when I sit down to paint, ideas just arise out of nothing. But you'll see there that when music arises for you, you'll start humming a tune or something. It's not coming from the person, is it? It just comes out. It doesn't really matter where it comes from. It may be compounded by things you've learned and listened to, but so what? It doesn't matter. It's all the one thing. Amrita, can inquiry into the me help the me fall off? No, nothing helps the me fall off. No kind of practice will help that. Because practice is the me. And the me is the life appearing as practice. It's too ironic to even have words for it. The irony of this whole situation is deep. It's an ironic situation that we find ourselves in, because we're trying to find freedom when all the time the one trying to find freedom is the freedom itself. So trying to find freedom, trying to inquire into the me, which is freedom, is the same freedom. Nothing can be done about it. Or wait till it happens on its own. You see, waiting is another concept of the person. I'm going to wait and hope. And oh, thanks, Anne. Yeah, totally. a bit uncomfortable. I may have to put a wall up. He said, do you feel that posting quotes from speakers like yourself and Tony Parsons, etc., is feeding the apparent me? I don't know. I'm guessing you put them up there because you love them. Only you would know that, Maddie. I guess you could just look and see, well, is it? I think only you can answer that, really. Generally, well, I wouldn't say generally that would be a thing. If that's what you love doing. But if you feel like it's feeding, you're seeking, then that would be the case. Hi, Lewis. On the one hand, there is the fear of the sense of me falling away. And on the other hand, there is a longing for exactly that. Yes, the me lives in that dichotomy. The human as well, it just wants rid of it. It wants rid of it. It's like a burden. It's like, oh, it's so heavy. It's like sick of it. Sick of it. Sick of its nonsense. But the fear of that is the fear of dying. The me really thinks it's dying when it's falling away. It really thinks it is. Because it thinks it's alive. Because it believes it's alive, it believes it's dying. But when it's no longer there, none of it matters. It was never a thing. There was never a me. There was never a me. There was never a no me. You're not left with a no me. There's just life, just ordinary life. Ordinary life. But the sense of the person can't experience that. It can't experience it because it's not experienced. But seeing this doesn't remove that sense of being a person. It still goes on. There can be, yeah, if there's a glimpse, no, it doesn't remove it. No. It either going on or it's not. That's all I can say about that. But I do see a lot that there are humans more and more being not people. I know a few humans who aren't people. Thank you, Lisa. When I heard your message first time, something happened. I felt so much freedom and love, but then a sense of contraction came back again. Yeah, that's normal. Yeah, that's normal. There'll be a toing and a froing. That's the way it seems to go. And when it's there, it feels really real. And when it's gone, it's just like, oh, what was that all about? Big fuss over nothing. And so much obsession and focus on body, mind, the belief is so deep. Yeah. That's a conditioning. It's a conditioning. Lovely, cool. Actually, there is a true falling in love with what arises when there is a creation of music. The me can really ruin it and develop all kinds of fears out of this claiming. Yeah. The music just spontaneously just bursts out, doesn't it? Like all beautiful music just comes, it's just magical. Magical. I find music really magical. It's like sound. I mean, sound. You can't see it or touch it. It's magical. Hi, Saket. Could it be because we were selves for so many years that it's so difficult for the brain to let go? Yeah, it's absolutely ingrained. It's absolutely ingrained, but it has no actual substance. It's a deep, deep conditional construct, conditioned, absolutely woven throughout the whole system, absolutely energetic, contracted in the whole of the system. It feels really, really real. But it can go just like that because it has no actual reality. It just feels so real. And it doesn't let go easily. It doesn't even let go at all. But it has the appearance of hanging on for grim death. Such a kind of joy listening to what you're speaking, don't know why. Yeah, there's a kind of joy in speaking it, and I don't know why either. Because there's nothing, I'm not actually saying anything. It's the most bizarre thing to be talking so much and not actually saying anything. So beautiful. Love it. Tangerine. There have been lots of glimpses here over the last few years. How long can this go on for? Geez. Yeah. Can't answer that one, I'm afraid. At the beginning of this broadcast, when you were having a rant, I wasn't sure if you were also referring to posting quotes, but I wasn't sure. Wanted to clarify. Yes, it does feel. No, Maddie, no, not about people posting quotes. No. Yeah, this is what I was having a rant about. Okay, so you innocently post a quote, a beautiful quote by Tony, who is one of the most beautiful men I've ever met. You post this beautiful quote, and someone comes on and goes, nah, and has an opinion about it, and like it's trying to like diss it, and like just like trying to like form it into something. When the beauty of Tony's quote is in it, it's just inexplicable, isn't it? It's ineffable. There's something ineffable, and someone comes along and tries to pinpoint it. Yeah, dries it all up. So juicy. And then the me comes along and like tries to put it in a little box. Lithology. Is the falling away of me always terrifying? Is it connected to the fear of death? No. Here it was grief. For a while. There was different apparent stages. Fear, grief, sadness, confusion. But it wasn't really that the me was dying. It was more like the end of a kind of a very, very strong conditioning. Almost like the end of like an addiction. It's hard to describe, really. It's like, like something was just coming out of the system. So no one was actually dying anyway. It was like the end of a condition. To me, it's like a condition. And it's just very ingrained. But it's not always. Some people, it just seems to slip away. Everything is a glimpse. Everything is a glimpse. I don't know. I know what she means, though. That can happen. People, the person could be sat there, and suddenly there's no person, and everything is revealed for what it is. The natural reality is revealed. And we call that a glimpse. Of course, everything is this aliveness, but within that aliveness, that can happen. Joe, boogie on down, Lisa. Thanks, Joe. CTD. Oh my God, I'm late. Yeah, I start earlier now, 8 o'clock, just so that I've got time to, like, you know, blob about. It says, so when you speak, you don't feel that you are speaking. It just comes out. Yes, yes, yes. There's nobody speaking here. There's no speaker. There's nobody speaking. There's just sound appearing. There's a mouth moving. There's heat. There's glass. There's water. Yes. Yes. So annoying, says M. Yes. Yes. Ruining your lovely quotes. Party poopers. Joe, don't interfere with what's happening. I'm either. Did the apparent feeling of me happen gradually? A falling of me gradually or instant? There was a lot of toing and froing for about a year, and then suddenly it was just gone. It's suddenly just gone. So it's always instant. When it's gone in an instant. You'll notice that. Because in a glimpse, it's gone in an instant. So it's gone in an instant, and bang, it's back again. It's gone in an instant, bang again. Gone in an instant, never comes back. So it's kind of always instant, but I know what you mean. There wasn't a gradual lessening of the sense of self, which can happen. Here it was full on this, full on me. Full on each time. It got worse, actually. To the point I was calling Tony. I was like, Tony, this is ridiculous. Lewis, there is often this wanting to re-experience life simply here without the sense of me. And then there is the frustration of knowing that there isn't anything that can be done about it. Yes, you can't experience life because it's already life. You can't experience this because it is this. And any apparent experience of it is this. It's always this. It's all inclusive. It's all one. It's all one. So the wanting to re-experiencing it is the life you're wanting to experience. That's why I say it's like this deep irony. This deep irony. I want to experience life is the life you're looking for. This is life and love, just constantly expressing itself as everything. And that can include wanting to re-experience life without me. Because there is no me. There is no me. There is only life expressing itself as separation. For no reason, just because. Just because. No one could ever know why. Or if there is a why, no one could ever know that. Because anyone is the expression of this aliveness. Second, when the self fell away, did you ever think you were losing your mind or might be going crazy? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that happened here. Yeah. Some people, I don't know what all this bliss thing is about. Beautiful love could happen here, but then it just goes away just like that as well, like anything else. But when suddenly there was that condition, let's call it a condition, when that was no longer there, the brain couldn't fathom it at all. Because I think in the glimpses, it just wasn't the same. But when it was just no longer in the system, it's like it just, I don't know, just left. The mind couldn't fathom that. Feels like suffering and experience myself, separate person. It's like a drug addiction, painful, but it's kind of fun at the same time. Yeah, the me is utterly addicted to itself. Has one drug, me. It's like a sort of a narcissistic drug addict, totally addicted to its own reflection. Even if that reflection, which is its apparent separate life in the world, even if it's a horrible appearance, it will be addicted to that. Some people are just addicted to drama and misery. It's like they kind of love it. It's like people love to tell you their sad, sad story. They love it. As if like, please listen to my sad, sad story. So, because it's like really real. My sad story is so real. They want to share that. They want to share it. You're welcome, Lewis. Amita, did your daughter find any difference in you before and after the fall of the me? Yes, she did notice. She did notice. She came in and she sat on the couch next to me and she looked at me and she said, "You're different." I just said, "Yep." That was that. We don't really talk about it, but she's very perceptive. Second, how would you respond to Zen koans like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? How would I respond? I got no interest in Zen. What's the sound of one hand clapping? Yeah, they're just kind of like riddles, aren't they, really? They're riddles. I know they're pointing to nothing. There isn't a sound of one hand clapping. There is no clapping. One hand can't clap. Or whatever the meaning of that is. No, I'm just not that interested in that kind of thing. I'm actually really unspiritual. I used to be a really spiritual person way back when. Really spiritual, oh my God. And now it's like, no, I have no interest in those sorts of things. Not that there's anything wrong with those things. It's just here, it's just no interest. I have interest in other things. Yeah. Not that there's anything right or wrong in any of that. You know, Zen poetry could be really beautiful if you're into that kind of thing. I like beautiful music and beautiful art and mountains and science fiction. But to me, it's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same aliveness. It doesn't matter what is appearing in the end. It doesn't matter. It's all the same aliveness. It's all the same expression. It's the expression of love. It's the expression of the mystery and intelligence of this appearance. Mythology, this message is somehow so soothing. Yes, there can be relaxing. Yeah, because there's nothing for you to do. It's like it takes away all this stuff that you feel you have to do. Just sort of strips it off somehow. If that body died right now, would Lisa be okay with that? Well, Lisa wouldn't know. If someone told me I was going to die in a week, I don't know how this body would react. I just don't know. I don't know. The body dying is not death. It's just a body dying. Yeah. Nobody will die, you see. Nobody will die. So beautiful. Death is really beautiful and very painful for the human. You lose a loved one. Oh, painful. It's also very beautiful. It strips away everything. Amita, if the me is any way a patent, and added software, then why the difference before and after the fall of me? And because there's no kind of program running that thinks it's my life and my life's not good enough. That is a massive difference. Not having that program running, me and my life, and I'm separate, and they're over there, and I'm not good enough, and not having that is bloody brilliant. There really is a difference. To deny that would just be sheer sophistry. How do you know that nobody knows? What do you mean in regards to what? Nobody knows. It's so cool to recognize that what you're speaking is really different from and fight a religion world. Your masters tell you that you are already perfect and you are already self, but please do meditate on yeah, self-inquiry. Yeah. Painful, but because if you're really perfect, why do you have to be more perfect? Okay, last things, because I need to go soon. Lewis, sometimes there is a kind of wide open joy, and at others there is a being brought to tears by the sadness of feeling alone after being ridiculed for talking about this to friends. Yeah. You need to pick who you talk to carefully. Yeah. Because, you know, people will ridicule you. They'll think you're stupid or insane or something, you know. Yeah. Your wide open joy is so beautiful. Then you go and cast those pearls. You go and cast those pearls before swine and they go and trample all over it. Best to not do that. Don't give advice much, do I? But I'd advise if it hurts. Oh, thank you, Amita. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Paul. Thanks, lovely. Thanks, Anne. And there was a question earlier that I didn't. How do you know that nobody knows? I don't. Nobody knows. Who would know what? Know what? Who? Know what? Who? Knowing what? There's nothing to know. There's nobody to know. Thanks, guys. Thanks, CGD. Thanks, Keel. Thanks, Lewis. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, everyone else. And I will be here same time next week. And oh, thank you, Paul. Thank you. Person I can't describe. Mythology, Jim. And I'll speak to some of you on Wednesday night. And have a good week, everyone. Lots of love. Bye.